So let's have a look at the routing setup I chose to use. I will first of all create a new file which I'll name routes.js, and that is optional. You don't need to outsource your routes there. But before we can set up any routes, we first need to install the Vue router, right? So let's run npm install -- save Vue router like that. And that should give us the Vue router. And with the router now installed, we can go to the main.js file. And here I want to add a new import, thank you, where I import the Vue router from the Vue router package here. And then you'll learn that we first need to run Vue use Vue router in order to use it. So let's do that here. This enables the Vue router, and next we want to set up the router. For that we need some some routes I should say. So I'm going to set them up here in an extra file, export const routes. Give this of course any name you like. And then routes are really just an array of objects, as you learned. So we need 3 routes now: to our home page, to the portfolio, and to the stocks page. So for that, I'll set up the main route first, the empty path or just a slash here, which will lead to our home page. And there I want to load a component, and this component I want to load is of course the home component. So here I'll import home from, and now it's from the components file from the home.vue file. So this now allows me to set the home component there for this first route. The second route shall now lead to the portfolio, let's say. So slash portfolio shall load the portfolio component, of course. So for that, let's go up to our imports and add the import here of our portfolio from, and now this lives in the components folder, in the portfolio folder, in the portfolio.vue file. So with that, we can add the portfolio component. And lastly, the last route we want to set up. Now that of course has to lead to our stocks. So here let's link to our stocks and then add the stocks component here. So let me add this last import stocks from components, stocks, and then the stock, not that file, this file, stocks.vue file. And then of course add it here. So these are the 3 routes I want to use in this application. No nested routes or anything like that, because routing wise this application is pretty straightforward. So with that we get all the routes configured here. Now since we export this, we can go back to the main.js file and import our routes here. So import the routes with the curly brace syntax, since it's a named export, from the routes.js file. And we can then use our router or create our router here in a constant, let's say, by running new Vue router. Important is that you used Vue use before. And then we pass an object where we configure our router. Now, how do we want to configure it? Well, I want to set the mode to history to get these nicer URLs and don't have the hashtag. And then I'll set my routes. So since I'm importing them, I could say routes, or again use this ES6 syntax of just setting up routes. And with that, the routes are configured. And now, of course, we also have to add the router here to our Vue instance. Again, with the shortcut instead of writing router, since we named this constant we want to use as a value router as well. With that, the router has been added to the application. We got our routes. Now let's see this in action by going to the app.vue file and adding a first router view here. So a place where we can load these routes. And with that in place, let's run our server with npm run dev, the development workflow and the server. And we see the home component. Now let's manually enter portfolio here, portfolio component, and if we visit /stocks, the stocks component. So with that, we got our first components in place and routing to go there. With that, in the next video, let's think about the next steps and start working on them.